When you play a contact sport or do anything active, there's a risk that you're gonna fall and you might slam your shoulder against the ground or against somebody else. And sometimes it kind of offsets your shoulder and it's like this stiff, you feel like, oh, I can't lift my arm up. Sometimes externally rotating to throw a ball or things like that become difficult. And you're like, oh, this happens all the time. I'll just wait for it to get better. Sometimes it takes weeks to get better. For some people I've worked with and it's taken years to get better, or it's just not. So this is the system that I follow for myself every time I take a tumble, you know, or things like that. And I realized that I've never made this video. So here it is. I just messed up this shoulder on last Monday, which is 5 days ago. And I did this the last 3 days and pretty much feel great. I wouldn't try to do it again because, you know, it's still healing, but I can get my arm straight up. I can throw. It's a little sensitive to throw, like I could feel it there, but it happened in this week, and it was pretty big. I was on a rail, fell down. The rail was like 2 feet high. So you can imagine I'm 6 feet, 2 feet off the snow, kind of falling off. It's a decent amount of force right into the shoulder. And yeah, it feels pretty good. So the thing you have to think about with the shoulders is while you're falling is how are you falling? Are you open? Are you closed? Obviously, we want to kind of be a little bit more closed. We're going to be a little bit stronger in that position, less likely to break an arm or things like that. So when you're closed, I'm going to use that as an example because most of the time this is where we're at. You hit, this back stretches out because you're kind of rolling into it, and the chest compresses. It's throwing the shoulder kind of forward into this position. That's going to seize up all of this stuff, but then because this stretches so much so fast, it seizes up the back as well as it recovers. So it kind of creates a little bit of tension. So the first step to letting yourself open the shoulder back up, especially if you feel like it keeps getting locked, is gonna be like myofascial release. And specifically, I like kind of these massage balls, or you could get a pinky ball, like the 99-cent store if that's even around, and open up that way. So they have a little bit of squish. Lacrosse balls also work. I'm gonna show you on the bench, so not all the way on the ground. You're gonna find the sticky spots. So let me go like this. Okay, kind of moving around. You're like, oh, there's a knot there, or there's a little bit of stiffness. And then what I want to do is place the ball on there and then fall back into it and let it relax. Like it still does have quite a bit of tension because, as I said, it's just 5 days ago. And I'm just letting myself fall back. I'm moving my arm around. Once I find a really sticky spot, gonna kind of relax and let my shoulder wrap around it and then move through it, trying to find where there's other sticky spots tied to it. So that's what I do with this. I can also do it with this one. This one opens up so you can do separate, or you can use them together kind of in the middle of your back, which I do use very often. The two spots that I get the best results with most of the time, it does again matter where you fall, but is right here on the lat here, right inside between the lat and the scapula. It's a very sticky spot most of the time. And then the other spot is right in the middle of the back, right through there. So scapula is right here, and then I'm moving just a little bit to the side and then opening up the scapula while I go through that. It's kind of in that trap area. That's gonna open up the shoulders quite a bit. And then I said 2, but there's actually 3. Last one, I use the least, but it's this upper trap. Most people carry a lot of tension in the upper trap anyways. So when they fall, it just creates more tension and they get this like, you can't lift it up. So myofascial release, that's step 1. It's gonna open up the shoulders. I would encourage you to do that before you do the next 2 steps. But do always remember, it matters how you fall and how you move. That just covers the back. You can do the front as well. Most of the time, the front gets hit better by this, well, actually the third exercise that we're gonna go through. So for the second one, just use one. It's going to be the Paratials. So for the Paratials, I will do them on the bench. Again, you can do these flat. You don't need a bench. Just gives you a little bit easier in demonstration while doing it. So you're laying flat on your stomach. You don't want your knees to be too spread if you're laying flat on the ground. You kind of want them more like this, so you're not creating the paused rotation or not limiting rotation by your knees. Then your hand is going to go down, and then you're up this way. And you're just holding this position, kind of bringing that shoulder back into its position. I'll show you with the weak arm. We'll go here. And then I'm opening up this shoulder, trying to feel it out, push away the arm. I'm looking at my fingertips. That's a cue to help one, reconnect the shoulder, but also just keep your head bent over. And then I'm just holding this position. You can go about 8 seconds, 3 times is a good start. And when I started this on Tuesday, right after I hurt my shoulder, just going with a hand, then coming back, then go with weight. And after days, you can add more weight to where you're holding and really rebuilding that position. So that's the Paratials. That's the base model of them. I do encourage that everyone goes through different variations. So doing it close to your body, but down, and also doing it up in front. This one's the hardest, so I would go here last, but start in that middle position and then kind of go from there. Think of easier, harder. If it's really messed up, you might go no weight down here and just try to hold that position, pulling the shoulder back. You don't want to do one of these guys. It happens quite a bit where you're basically just hyper using the tricep. So that's number one. It rebuilds that back of the shoulder, bringing the shoulder back into position. Well, what happens about the part that's all squinched up because you squinched the shoulder into whatever you did, happens all the time. We have the straight arm presses or the planche presses that are next. So we're laying here. A lot of the times I like to warm it up with a little bit of Smith curl pulses like this, but where I've seen the most results is where I'm straight arm pressing to the top, pulling the shoulders back, and then keeping or guiding the shoulders back down with these straight arms. So because it's in the straight arm, not bent, it's using the bicep function to actually press. I purposely did the right arm separate. And then guide back through. What you'll find if the shoulder's really off is it will start to kind of like move around. We want it, that's why I had pulled the shoulders back and then guiding through. You can also move your head while you do it, and it will change how the actual movement feels. And again, you're gonna hit all the different angles here to where you can even go to about a straight arm pull over where you're here. That one actually is still a little bit sticky for me on that right arm. There's a little bit of tension. So it just means that it's where I need to work on it a little bit more. There are lots of different things that I will also do. I try to move it as much as possible, utilizing rope flow just to get some small blood flow in there. But these 3 things are what I use the most, and I've been doing them basically every other day. And every day if it's not sore. Sometimes it's pretty sore after training it. I'm like, okay, let's just do movement, help it recover, give it a little bit more time. And always remember that the body does take time to heal, but if you stimulate it properly, it's going to heal a lot faster, allow you to get back to doing the things you love. So don't think that slamming your shoulder against the ground or another person, if it's rugby or whatever sport you play, is going to be a season ender or something you're going to have to deal with for a long time. This can get over in a week and you can be back to doing the things that you love. Like I said, enjoy it.